Welcome back to another Marvel Legends UK review. Today we are going to be reviewing Weapon X from the Marvel Legends Caliban Build-A-Figure wave. Let's go! So here we are with the fifth review in the wave. Today we're reviewing the Weapon X Wolverine, and I've got to say right out of the box, out of the case, I'm very impressed with how this figure looks. There is a bit of weight behind this as well. Weapon X comes with a Build-A-Figure piece for Caliban. It is one of his legs. As you can see on the back of the box, very high detailed in terms of the comic book art. The figures that we need in order to complete Caliban are Beast, or Weapon X, Forge, Blink, Jubilee and the Skullbuster. There is no Build-A-Figure piece with Gambit, who will probably be the most sought after figure in the wave. As we've said previously as well with the side art, I'm keeping this from now on. Now that we've gone to colour, more high detailed, I'm appreciating this imagery a lot more. On the back of the box it says the Weapon X program experiments on humans and mutants alike, including Wolverine, who undergoes a brutal process that bonds adamantium to his skeleton. Very iconic character from the comics and from the TV series and also from the movies. What I'm going to do now is break him out of his plastic prison and go through him in more detail. So here he is, another Wolverine from another X-Men wave. A Wolverine I didn't think we were going to see for a long time, and a Wolverine a lot of people probably think they didn't actually need. First impressions out of the box, I absolutely love this figure. I think he's the dark horse of the wave. I've been very impressed with the detail. The accessories, however, I'm not too fond of, which is this head sculpt of Wolverine. I'm just going to shed some light on this actual head sculpt itself. It is probably accurate to the comic. In terms of the paint apps, we have got a couple of misprints down the side of the head. It doesn't like the camera's picking it up well. The black is slightly off. And same with the hair over this side. I don't think the actual camera's picking it up very well, but in hand there are a couple of paint errors on there. You can see a nice screaming face, but I just don't think it looks like Logan. For whatever reason, I think other than the unmasked head that we got with the brown suit Wolverine, I don't think the heads that we've got so far from Hasbro for Wolverine have been too impressive. But nevertheless, it is another unmasked head to go with a really impressive figure. And the other Build-A-Figure piece that we get with Caliban, this is the right leg. We have had a couple of issues regarding paint chippings on the hinges. This is no different. In fact, I don't know if the camera's picking that up there. You can actually see that that's white, whereas the actual leg itself is a pearlescent white. It does stand out a mile in hand. On shelf probably won't be too bad, but in terms of the actual paint decor, it's now non-existent. It has flaked off after a couple of movements. It's probably going to happen as well on this hinge as well. So, but we'll go into that in more detail when I've actually got the Build-A-Figure in hand and all pieced together. Moving over to Logan, sorry, just adjusted the camera. Here he is, as you can see, fully kitted out in the Weapon X attire, and I absolutely love this figure. The detail is incredible. The paint apps are incredible for what there actually is on the figure itself. These boxes, this box belt, this equipment, when he was using it for his Night Stalker gear when he was sent out on a mission prior to him malfunctioning, because at this point it was being controlled by Cornelius. The actual head sculpt itself is absolutely fantastic. I think the only downfall to this is that he's not actually snarling, but given the face that we got with the Wolverine bike, it's probably a good thing. The actual chest itself has painted on hair, as you can see, beautifully done. Same with the arms, nice hairy arms, and again on the legs. For some reason they've missed the thigh area in terms of painting the hair on, but he has got hairy shins. Nothing on the feet, but we have got some Wolverine toes. But just overall, this figure, even though it is actually quite basic, the attention to detail in terms of what he looked like in the comics is fantastic. I absolutely love this figure. The head does pop off. Just do it out of the camera. The head does pop off, as we can see. And this little red tube here that holds the helmet in place does come out. So you can remove the helmet in full to put your unmasked Wolverine head on. Now again, with this Wolverine, the hair sculpt is pretty rigid. It's pretty stiff. Get on, there we go. The hair sculpt is pretty rigid at the back, meaning that we have limited movement, so we can move not far forward. When it comes to moving back, there's just no give whatsoever because of the way that the hair is shaped at the back. Similar with the harness and the hair pieces down the side, it does make it very limited in the way you can actually move the head without hindering the figure. The arms, these rubber bands that he's actually got, using a bit of traction. The rubber bands around his arm, his wrists are removable. And I have actually had this figure completely naked as well whilst I've been playing around with it. Where we've managed to get the harness off over the butterfly joints and the actual belt as well. So with some manipulation in and around the belt, you can actually slide the belt downwards, leaving your Wolverine completely buck-ass naked other than the little speedos that he's got on. So again, there's multiple display options that you can do with this figure. I am actually in the process of designing a Weapon X chamber to display this figure in, as the original Toy Biz figure did come with a dial piece, which is a little bit small if you were to be taking pictures. So I'm looking to recreate the Weapon X chamber, 3D print the surrounds, and then use a fizzy pop or a soda bottle, depending on where you are, to harness the figure inside and suspend him in animation. But all in all, he is actually a fantastic figure. I'm just going to now flip to the comparisons and compare him to the original Toy Biz. So here we have a side-by-side comparison, with Hasbro being on the left and Toy Biz being on the right. As you can see, they stand roughly around about the same size when in a slightly crouched position, but the Hasbro figure is slightly taller than the Toy Biz. And as you can see, the design is pretty much the same, other than the harness not being on the original Toy Biz. We had these plugs, which you could use the original diorama piece, which is here, to plug these little pipes into the actual figure itself, so it didn't matter which way you did it, giving the impression that he was suspended in animation. One thing that really did bother me about this figure was the belt pieces. They do plug in on the small little pegs, as you can see, do sit in, but any kind of movement seems to actually knock or hinder the articulation. I'll just pop that in. So yeah, once that's in there, moving the feet forward is fine, but anything out, it can actually hinder the movement, or in theory, not the actual box off his of the actual figure itself. This figure was in my display as an event figure, similar with the Dark Phoenix. You know, it's an iconic moment within the X-Men era, shall we say, where you know, without the Weapon X program, Wolverine would cease to exist, and we would just have, sorry about that, we would just have him with his bone claws. But as you can see, the figure's held up really well. I'll be a bit disappointed to obviously remove yet another Toy Biz figure out of my collection in favour for the Hasbro upgrade, but that's just the way things are going at the moment. If you do have the opportunity to pick up this figure, I would highly recommend it. For me, he is the dark horse of the wave. I absolutely love the design, I love the figure, and I am, for the time being, going to be displaying him with the original Toy Biz diorama piece, which he is a little bit big for, but for display purposes, I don't think it's too bad. There we go. Just a quick little setup. It's not too bad. It creates a nice little effect on a shelf as he's stepping out the cryo chamber. But once I've got the designs done and I've got the first batch printed, I'll be uploading it to the Instagram channel, which is Marvel Legends UK_, If you got a chance, go give us a follow over there. We'll be reviewing the rest of the wave and uploading the videos accordingly. So yeah, another hit from Hasbro, one of my favourite figures from the wave. Thank you very much for checking out the channel and this video. Like, share, subscribe, and here's to the next one. Thanks guys.